All in leaguers, what's going on? Good morning to you guys. I'm doing something a little different this time around. I'm actually going to break down what's going on with the playoff picture to start off with. Number one, this is the playoff picture for week 14. As you can see, right now, the number one seed is OKC Nighthawks. He's 11-1. The number two seed is J League with the Baltimore Ravens. He's 10-2. The third seed is Allen with the Jaguars. He's also 10-2. There's a tiebreaker situation where Baltimore has the number two seed at the particular moment. The fourth seed is tied. The fourth seed is actually tied. It doesn't show it on the page, but right now the Chargers have the tiebreaker over the Broncos for the finals for that AFC West. As the fifth seed is the Cincinnati Bengals at 9-3. The sixth seed is the New England Patriots at a record of 7-5, and the final seed is the Pittsburgh Steelers at 75. So that's the playoff hunt for right now. Just to go ahead and give you guys a heads up, I mentioned the Broncos. Pittsburgh and Denver will be one of the games of the week, so be on the lookout to get ready to vote for that game. Also, still in the hunt are the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills. They're both sitting at 6-6. Just to kind of give you guys a heads up of the games that's going to be coming up for this. Let's go to the standings real quick. I just want to give you guys a breakdown of what the standings looking like. I'm going to go to the AFC first. Right now, the Texans and the Bills are both tied they're both in position to still make the playoffs. The Chargers and Broncos currently are the two division leaders that are tied at the moment as well. So the Bills, so Texans will also have a game of the week. He's going to be going up against the user for the Seattle Seahawks, who's also in the playoff picture. I'm going to go to his schedule real quick. Let me just show you guys as we can real quick. So Texans and Seahawks, excuse me. That will be game of the week this week. So just another heads up. The second game of the week this week is Texans and Seahawks. His remaining schedule, he has the Cardinals, who's also in the playoff picture as well. The Jaguars, who's also in the playoff picture. So this is his 3 games coming up. These games will be played because they have playoff implications. I also mentioned Buffalo. Buffalo has a game against the Falcons this week. He's going to get the chance to play his game because the Falcons want to play spoiler in this postseason. The Dolphins is on auto, so those 2 games will be forced wins. He has the Patriots in week 16. So that's a heads up for the games in regards to that. Moving forward, going to the top seeds right now. We're going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, he's off this week as a force due to the opponent that he has. We're going to also see him play week 15 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's the 7th seed currently. The Lions and Ravens, I can go ahead and give you guys a heads up. That's going to be game of the week when that comes up. Just a heads up on that as well. Week 17 is going to be a rematch between the Ravens and Bengals. Otherwise, the division would have been won by now. But because he has a 1-0 edge on Baltimore, that's going to be the reason why that game has not been played as of the moment. Let me get ready to go to the Nighthawks. The Nighthawks is currently the number 1 seed. I'm just giving you guys a rundown of the games coming up. If Tampa does choose to play him this week, he can. But the final games coming up will be Bengals against the Nighthawks in week 15. And in week 17, he has another game against the Patriots, depending on what the playoff pictures look like at the particular moment. So those are the teams that are in the top race for the AFC currently. So I just gave you a rundown of the Nighthawks, the Bengals, the Nighthawks, the Ravens, the Jaguars. As far as the Broncos and Chargers, those are the 2 teams playing for the NFC West title right now. Next week, Broncos and Steelers. I don't know if I think I mentioned it earlier. That is a playoff game. That's going to be game of the week. The Chargers and Broncos will play for the AFC West next week. I have to face off with the Broncos in week 16. And Barons, the current number 1 seed in the NFC, he's going to be playing against the Broncos as well. As far as the Chargers, he don't play the Raiders this week because the Raiders is auto. Again, week 16 is going to be the divisional game. Week 16 will be against the Brooklyn Barons, who's also playing for the number one seed. So just to give you a rundown, and I will have to possibly play him just in case that division is up for grabs when it's all said and done. So just to give you guys a playoff heads up, the Jaguars can win the AFC South with a win or a Houston loss. The someone said don't disrespect the Rams. Like, we have the number one. I'm going to talk about the NFC. Give me a second. But this is your rundown of the AFC at the current moment. So just to go to the NFC, we're going to start off with the Brooklyn Barons. The Brooklyn Barons are the number one seed at the moment because of NFC wins. That is, excuse me, I'm going to the wrong one. The Brooklyn Barons are the number one seed based on the NFC record, excuse me. So they both have the same record. That's still on all three. Let me go to this. So as you can see, they both have the same record. The Rams have 8 games that he's played in the NFC. The Barons have 9. That's going to be determined this week. Just to give you guys a heads up, the 1 seed right now is the Barons. The 2 seed is the Rams. The 3 seed is the Lions. This game, the Saints, let me go ahead and throw that out there. Saints and Barons is game of the week as well. The winner of that game, the seed is going to change in this conference. So right now, these are your 4 divisional champs at the current moment. It looks like the Lions and Saints have already clinched your division. So again, you guys are clear for the $5 for next season. Congratulations on that. Go ahead and get your heads up on that. As far as the teams in the wild card race, the Cardinals are 8-4. The Eagles and Giants are also playing this week. That's going to do a lot of determining for the wild card spot. And Seattle currently sits in the 8th spot, but he can still make the playoffs. I'm going to give you guys a rundown of the schedules in the NFC. Now, the Rams lost last week to the Seahawks, lost on the field goal, actually. That was the difference in that game. But just to give you guys a rundown of the Barons schedule, excuse me. The Saints and the Barons, as I mentioned, they're going to be game of the week. So, heads up. The Eagles is another game he will have to play. The Chargers and Broncos are playing for the division title. So, those 2 games will be coming up for the division title. So, he has to play those games out. As far as the Rams, let's go to the Rams schedule. Oh, my gosh. The Colts, Packers, and 49ers all have decided they're going to be done for the season. They're getting ready for the draft. So those 3 games will not have to be played by him. His next game is week 17 against the Cardinals. So Bears can afford to lose a game, or the Rams will clinch the number 1 seed. Let's go over to New Orleans. New Orleans, speaking of, the Saints and Lions are both on the 10-game winning streak. Salute to both of those guys. They've been on the tear. We know somebody's going to have to lose this game between him and Brooklyn. He'll play the Cowboys so the Falcons are going to try to play spoiler in whatever capacity he can. And then the Giants is in the wild card race for week 17. I mentioned the Seahawks is in the playoff picture as well. Seahawks and Texans, as I mentioned earlier, you are game of the week because both teams still have a shot to make the postseason. The following game is going to be against the Detroit Lions, who's also in the playoff picture. Arizona's also in the playoff picture. This could determine one of the final wild card spots as well. And the Vikings, if the Vikings choose to play, he can. If he doesn't, then that's cool too. Now let's go over and look at the defending Super Bowl champion. His schedule, he's the current 7th seed. He's playing the Eagles this week. He doesn't have to worry about playing the Chiefs or the Cowboys, unless they choose to play. And Saints is week 17, so that's going to probably be a game of the week 17, just to make a mental note for that, everyone. The Eagles, who have also been on a 4-game winning streak, he got the Giants this week. He got the Bears. His last 2 games, he don't have to play, so he potentially could be in the postseason as one of the final spots as well. The other team, which is the 5 seed right now, Arizona has to play. If Allen was not previously game of the week, this would have been a game of the week. Arizona's going to Jacksonville to play. He has the Texans, who's also in the wild card picture as well in the AFC. This could potentially be game of the week 16 between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. And depending on if he wants to play that game week 17 against the Rams, he can. If he doesn't, that's cool too, because the Rams will win the division. That's already determined. So just to give you guys a rundown of that at the particular moment, let me go back to the playoff picture so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about as I continue to, talk about the playoff picture. Pulling that back up as we speak. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, pulling it back. We got it back situated now. As I mentioned before, the number one seed is the Brooklyn Bears. He has the NFC win edge at the particular moment. The number two seed is the Rams. He's 11-1 as well. Like I said, he's going to probably have 14 wins before it's all said and done. The three seed right now, the Lions have the edge on New Orleans because of AFC wins. The Saints went 2-2 in the NFC. Excuse me, in the AFC, and the Lions have not lost in the AFC yet. He has to play the Ravens though coming up soon, so that's gonna be a game to look out for. The Cardinals right now has a edge because of NFC wins. That's the reason why he's the 5 seed right now. Just to give you a heads up of what is coming up with that. I also forgot, everyone forgive me, I forgot to bring up the Bengals and, my bad, wrong thing. I forgot to bring up the Ravens schedule, excuse me. I keep skipping. No, the Bengals are the 5 seed. The Bengals you're going to have a force this week against Tennessee. He's tanking. The Nighthawks is going to play week 15. That's a game of the week coming up as well. Week 17 is going to be against the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see how the playoff picture is looking at that point. That could end up being game of the week, or that could end up being for the division. It depends on what's going on in the game with Jay Lee and the Ravens. As far as Baltimore, he doesn't have to play this week against the Chiefs. If you want to play auto, you can. Let me know if you're watching the stream. The last 3 games are against Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Cincinnati. So all those teams are going to be competing for the playoff spots. So that's the outlook of his schedule as well. Just to give you a heads up, they got to be Jay Lee that said, "Man, this is my division." Hey, I'm not taking anything away from you, sir. I'm just making a point, sir. Just making a point. Okay, just to give you guys a heads up, let's go take a look. I do want to give you guys a heads up. So if you're watching this stream, these are the weekly Player of the Week's award. Lions, Rams, Ravens, Jaguars. Send me your +2. These are the players of the week. If anybody that is not in the league and they're tuned in, you get a +2 when you earn Player of the Week in the league this week. So that's to give you a heads up on that. So these guys that are on the screen right now, if you have a +2, send it to me. Make sure you get it in to me while I'm on here right now. So let's go to the yearly awards because I'm gonna do something I haven't determined what's gonna be yet. This is the MVP race for the NFL right now. Jonathan Taylor is number 1. You got Kyler Murray at 2, and Joe Mixon is number 3. So these are the 3 guys in the MVP race: Jonathan Taylor, Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon. I'll probably award Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year right now is tied between KD Bailey and Ron Rivera. I got it, Jay. See your post right now. So again, you're gonna get some reward based off this. So right now, the race for Offensive Player of the Year, Joe Mixon is number 1. You got Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown at 2 and 3 respectively. Defensive Player of the Year is looking like going to be Patrick Queen at the moment for the Broncos, with Ashton Davis and Tony Brown right here on this case. Offensive Rookie of the Year is looking like Malik Willis for New England right now, with Chris Brown Jr. and John Mechie in the race as well. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, you got Anthony Adams for Baltimore. Smoke Monday's number 2. By the way, Bengals, I changed that name back. You don't change the name on the league. It ain't Ed Reed, Smoke Monday. Anyways, Brandon Joseph is number 3. Right now, the best quarterback race is Kyler Murray, Kaepernick, and Justin Herbert. The best running backs are Joe Mixon, Eckler, and Etienne. The top 3 right now for receivers is gonna probably either be Jay Lee, Jay's gonna win one way or the other. Calvin Ridley's number 3. Best offensive lineman is gonna probably Ronnie Stanley. Best defensive lineman, Josh Allen for Jacksonville. Best linebacker at the moment is Patrick Queen with Caleb Von Chason and Miles Jack on his case. Best defensive back is Tony Brown with CJ and Trey Waynes on this case as well. And best kicker right now is Kaimi Fairburn for the AFC. On to the NFC. Offensive player of the year right now is Jonathan Taylor at number 1. Tony Pollard and Saquon are 2 and 3. Defensive player of the year is Troy Apke, Jabril Peppers, and Ventrell Miller are the top 3 for the defensive player of the year. Offensive rookie of the year right now, New Orleans has Spencer Rattler leading the race with Isaiah Spiller and Sean Shivers on his case for 2 and 3. Defensive rookie of the year is Ventrell Miller with Isaiah Polamalu on this case and Evan Fields from Seattle on this case as well. Best quarterback race right now has Daniel Jones leading with Jared Goff and Rattler at 2 and 3. Best running back has Jonathan Taylor right now by a landslide, probably, with Saquon and Tony Pollard in this case. Best wide receiver, Odell Beckham is number 1 with Darius Slayton and Tyler Lockett at 2 and 3. Best offensive lineman looks like it's going to go to Quentin Nelson, but he has Teron Armstead and Brandon Scherf. He has 2 people. Oh, God. Stop Jonathan Taylor, guys. Best defensive lineman right now is between Jadeveon Clowney, Joey Bosa sitting at number 2, and Montez Sweat is number 3. Best linebackers between Ventrell Miller, Deion Jones, and Jamin Davis. Best defensive back is Troy Apke, Jabril Peppers, and Evan Fields is in that race. Best kicker right now is Graham Gano for the Giants. So these are your yearly award races at the moment. I'm going to go to the schedule and I'm going to show you guys the games. I'm going to go make sure that I post it in the group page and on the group chat as well. For this week, Cowboys and Panthers, that can be considered as that's right now as a fair sim unless someone get into contact with me. Bears and Packers is considered a forced win. Saints Bears is game of the week. That game has to be played. Nighthawks and Buccaneers. If the Bucs choose to play Nighthawks, let me know. If not, that's your forced win. Jay Lee, you have the opportunity to go ahead and get your game out of the way. So do you, Cincinnati. Cardinals and Jaguars, you guys have to play that game. Rams and Colts, that game is already a forced win. Bills and Falcons will be played because it's a playoff implication game. Seahawks and Texans is the second game of the week. Dolphins, Patriots, Chargers, Raiders are both forces. Steelers and Broncos and Eagles and Giants are games that can be played. Quan, if you do want to play me, you can play against me. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. Once the games that I've pointed out are played, we will advance to week 15 because at this point, you will have enough games to where you start determining the playoff picture, start determining number 1 picks and everything. So, guys, you get in contact with me about this. After this, you guys can go in the group page and let me know if you want to start hearing anything else on this stream. We'll start doing this as we get closer to the playoffs, and we'll probably definitely do it for the playoffs and Super Bowl. But until next week, this is the stream for the preview week. Again, I'm going to post all the stuff that I just went over in this stream on the group page. Y'all have a good morning.